everyone. Today I will tell you a story. The story is titled, Boy and the Way It Makes Me Sit Still a Little Longer. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you appreciate me. You can skip this if you don't and oppose. Like this video. Thank you very much. The story begins as follows. Boy never announces itself. It doesn't bark to be noticed or jump up to demand attention. Instead, Boy arrives the way quiet things do, softly, carefully, as if the world might break if it moves too fast. Every afternoon, when the sun slips through the window and lands in uneven squares on the floor, I sit down without much intention. Sometimes I tell myself I'll only rest for a minute. Sometimes I don't tell myself anything at all. I just sit. That's usually when Boy appears. It walks over slowly, nails clicking once, then stopping. It turns in a small, thoughtful circle, as if choosing the exact spot matters deeply. Then it lowers its body, leaning gently against my leg. Not enough to push, not enough to demand, just enough to say, I'm here. Boy's back is warm. Not hot, not heavy, just warm enough to be felt. And somehow, without asking, Boy decides that this is where we will stay for a while. At first, I don't notice the time passing. I scroll my phone. I stare at nothing. I think about things that don't matter. But Boy doesn't move. Its breathing is slow and steady, rising and falling against my leg like a quiet reminder that stillness is allowed. Sometimes Boy sighs. A long, dramatic sigh, as if the world has been exhausting and this moment is the only reasonable solution. I laugh quietly every time. That sigh feels like permission. Permission to stop. Permission to sit. Permission to not rush toward the next thing. When I shift my leg slightly, Boy adjusts with me, never leaving contact. It doesn't cling, but it doesn't let go either. The message is simple. You can stay. I'm not going anywhere. I often realize later that I've been sitting much longer than planned. 10 minutes turn into 30. 30 turns into an hour. And I don't feel guilty about it. Not when Boy is there, leaning into me like stillness itself has a heartbeat. Boy doesn't care about productivity. It doesn't know what deadlines are or why my phone keeps lighting up with urgency. It doesn't understand calendars or lists or the feeling that life is always slightly behind schedule. Boy understands only one thing very well. Now, when Boy sits beside me, time stops behaving the way it usually does. It stretches. It softens. It loses its sharp edges. There is no rush in the way Boy exists. Even its blinks are slow, deliberate, like it's tasting the moment before letting it go. Sometimes I get up too quickly. The moment my body tenses, Boy notices. Its ears twitch. Its eyes open just a little. And then, without standing, it presses its weight more firmly against my leg. Not forcefully. Just enough to say, are you sure? That small pressure is surprisingly powerful. It reminds me that not every movement needs to happen right away. Not every urge to stand up is important. Not every moment of rest needs to be interrupted by action. There are days when my thoughts run fast, chasing worries that don't have answers yet. On those days, Boy's presence feels like an anchor. It doesn't try to fix anything. It doesn't distract me. It simply exists beside me, calm and unbothered, as if to say, the world can wait. Sometimes Boy falls asleep like this, leaning against me. Its body grows heavier, more trusting. I can feel the rhythm of its breath, steady and unafraid. In those moments, I become very aware of myself, my own breathing, my own tension, the way I'm always slightly prepared to get up and go. But with Boy there, that readiness fades. I stay still longer than I usually allow myself to. And nothing bad happens. The house doesn't fall apart. The world doesn't collapse. Life doesn't punish me for pausing. Instead, something gentle happens. My shoulders drop. My thoughts slow. I remember what it feels like to simply be present, sharing space with another living being without expectation. Boy teaches this lesson every day, without words, without effort. Doing nothing together is still doing something important. In today's world, sitting still often feels like a failure. We are taught to move, to improve, to hurry toward the next achievement. But Boy quietly shows me a different truth. When Boy leans against my leg and keeps me sitting just a little longer, it isn't making me lazy, it's teaching me balance. It reminds me that rest is not the opposite of living, it is part of it. From Boy, I learned that presence is a form of care. Animals don't love through plans or promises. They love through time and closeness. When we slow down for them, we meet them where they already live, in the moment. This creates a relationship built on trust, safety, and mutual calm, something deeply valuable in a busy human life. We can bring this lesson into our daily routines. Sit a little longer with the people or animals we care about. Put the phone down. Notice breathing, warmth, and quiet. Allow stillness to exist without guilt. These small pauses help us reconnect with ourselves and with other living beings. Boy doesn't know it, but every time it makes me sit still, it makes my life gentler. And in learning to be gentle with animals, we often relearn how to be gentle with ourselves. And that is a kindness the world truly needs.